It's Thursday, January 16th.
A ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached by Israel and Hamas.
A delicate agreement. A ceasefire deal to pause the war in Gaza will come into effect on Sunday. However, Israel is now accusing Hamas of making last-minute changes.
Protect your jurisdiction. The country comes first.
Lone holdout. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Canada's premiers trying to present a united front in the face of a U.S. tariff threat. But Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is not on board.
Kind of a strange way to have people sign up for a doctor, but hopefully I get one.
Braving the cold for a chance to sign up with a family doctor. A lineup at a new practice shows the depth of Canada's doctor shortage.
Lift off. All 7 inches, now passing 18 seconds into flight.
And taking flight, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin sending a rocket into orbit for the first time, all part of the billionaire's space race with Elon Musk. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Well, good morning, Canada. Welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Good morning. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
I'm Kelsey McEwen. Happy Thursday.
On that doctor story, which was wild to watch, these people lined up around the block, some of them finding out about this opportunity on Facebook. Like, that is the picture of where we're at in our healthcare system.
We're going to bring you more on that story in just a little bit. Developing news to start this morning on this Thursday morning. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is accusing Hamas of seeking last-minute demands in the ceasefire agreement. The announcement of a deal Wednesday brought celebrations in both Israel and Gaza. A vote on the deal has been delayed by Israel's cabinet. Benjamin Netanyahu says his cabinet won't meet until Hamas backs down. Hamas said in their own statement that they're, quote, committed to the ceasefire agreement. Now, the deal is supposed to come into effect Sunday, kicking off a 6-week truce, along with the release of 33 hostages held since October 7th, the attacks that day. But the fighting is still going on, with dozens of people killed in Israeli airstrikes today. Well, here in Canada, news of the Gaza ceasefire deal has brought a sense of relief for people worried about loved ones, obviously, caught in the fighting.
We're able to have a moment to breathe, knowing that there won't be any bombs falling through the sky.
For Canadians with loved ones held hostage by Hamas, there is guarded optimism. They could be released in days. There is also hope a ceasefire could help turn the temperature down in Canada, where incidents of hate against Muslims and Jews have spiked since the war started. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau welcomed the news of the deal, saying Canada will do whatever it can to make sure the ceasefire takes hold. Meanwhile, pro-Palestinian groups say they plan to keep pressure on Ottawa in demanding an end of arms exports to Israel. Outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden is saying his final farewell from the Oval Office.
After 50 years of public service, I give you my word. I still believe in the idea for which this nation stands.
Joe Biden hailed the ceasefire deal in Gaza as a personal achievement. President-elect Donald Trump, however, says the deal only happened because of his election win in November. Joe Biden also warning of an oligarchy of the ultra-wealthy taking root in the country and of a tech industrial complex, he's calling it, infringing on American rights. He was alluding to the influence of people like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. President Joe Biden officially leaves the White House Monday when Donald Trump is inaugurated for a second term. Well, back here at home, the premiers and the prime minister met to talk tariffs. Every premier said they were on board with keeping all options open, well, except for one premier.
By taking that off the table immediately means that we have definitively reduced our negotiating strategy, and I think it's a really short-sighted view.
Alberta Premier Danielle Smith didn't join the meeting in person. She was there virtually. Premier Smith posted online she won't back Ottawa's plan unless restrictions on energy exports are off the table. The Prime Minister and premiers had talked about cutting off the flow of roughly 4 million barrels of oil to the U.S. every day as part of its response plan. Former Bank of Canada, let me start that again. Restart. All right, former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney is expected to launch his Liberal leadership bid today in Edmonton. Calgary Liberal MP George Shahal has already sent out an email endorsing Carney and asking other Liberal members to attend the event. Mark Carney was born in the Northwest Territories but grew up in Edmonton. Once Carney officially enters the race, he will widely be considered a frontrunner, along with former Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland. Freeland hasn't announced her intentions publicly yet, but did post this on social media Wednesday afternoon, saying, quote, "Fifth cup of tea and the calls aren't stopping. Grateful for the chance to hear from you and listen to your ideas, fellow Liberals. I'll have much more to say very soon." Edmonton Centre MP Randy Boissonnault, meanwhile, saying in his own announcement that he'll be seeking re-election and that he hopes to do so under the leadership of Chrystia Freeland. Hundreds of people lined up on a cold and snowy morning in an Ontario town in the hopes of landing a family doctor.
I've been with, Health Connects for 6 years looking for a family doctor. And this is the first thing that they've actually found, sort of thing. So to come and stand in line.
The line outside the Walkerton Legion, it started before the sun was even up. There is a new doctor opening a practice in town. People were told the first 500 people to sign up will be accepted as patients. The next 500 people were put on a wait list for another doctor who is expected to start later this year. The 1,000 patient limit, that was reached by noon. About 10 to 15 people had to be turned away. The Canadian Medical Association estimates 6.5 million Canadians don't have a family doctor. In New Brunswick, hospitals are turning to virtual care for relief.
We have had difficulties in some of our emergency departments maintaining staff, physicians and nurses, 24/7.
The Horizon Health Network is introducing virtual care at 2 hospitals, so patients will be assessed as usual when they come into an ER. Depending on their symptoms, they could be given the option to see a doctor remotely. New Brunswick's health minister says this will help patients go home faster, help keep smaller facilities open. Interesting. The space race between billionaires heats up as Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin sends a rocket into orbit for the first time.
5, 4, 1. Lift off.
The New Glenn rocket took off from Florida on its first test flight this morning. It sent a prototype satellite to orbit above Earth. The mission is considered a success. One little blip, I guess. A rocket booster designed to land on a platform in the Atlantic Ocean failed to make it. These boosters in the future are designed to be reused. That's cool. Drone footage released by authorities in Massachusetts show the moment a dog and its owner, this is scary, were rescued from an icy lake. Oh boy. Officials say what happened was the dog fell in, like through the ice, and then its owner was trying to rescue it. So then the owner fell in. They were pretty far from shore. They couldn't get out. They were unable to make it back. And then oh man.
Ugh.
Whoa.
Anyway,
everyone's fine. They're okay. But lots of stories like this right now.
I know.
Depending where you are, you really got to know how thick that ice is before you head out.
For sure.